At the heart of the Grove's magic, wrote author Herman Wouk, lie two emotional experiences. The first is a general attitude that for every man there is a brother. Once past the gate, old tycoons, young account executives, astronauts, and singers become equal, men together, returning to nature and high style, to an ethereal dream of Redwood's Eden. The sounds of Bohemia echo that variety in music that ranges across the spectrum of tastes and tempos, thundering classics and plaintive chamber music, pulse-quickening marches, solemn chorales and swinging pops, gospel, blues, and twangy country music, even gypsy violins and mariachi rhythms.
Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. Ah, the summer's gone and all the roses falling. It's you must go and I must bide. But come you back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with the snow. It's I'll be here in the sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. Ah, but when you come and all the flowers are dying, if I am dead as dead I well may be. Ah, you'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me. Then I shall hear the soft you tread above me, and all my grave will warmer, sweeter be. Then you will bend and tell me that you love me. Then I shall sleep in peace until you come to me.
everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the but I'll be seeing you. I'll be seeing you.
I got a gal who's always late. Anytime we have a date, but I love her. Yes, I love her. I'm gonna walk right up to her gate and see if I can get it straight, 'cause I want her. I'm gonna ask her, is you, ain't my baby? The way you're acting lately makes me doubt. You is still my baby, baby. Seems my flame in your heart's done gone out. A woman is a creature that has always been strange. Just when you're sure of one, you'll find she's gone and made a change. Is you, ain't my baby? Maybe baby's found somebody new. Or is my baby still my baby true? Is you, ain't my baby? Maybe baby's found somebody new. Or is my baby still my baby true?
Stasera Nanni nemmeno stagliette sul tagliatore. Adò se corre in grazia più disprette, farmelo un po'. Adò il fuoco croce messe furie, se notte sta e non ti corria prese, non ti sfugge, solo a guardare. Andiamo
The loveliness of Paris seemed somehow sadly gay. The glory that was Rome is of another day. I've been terribly alone and forgotten in Manhattan. I'm going home to my city by the bay. I left my heart in San Francisco, high on a hill. It calls to me to be where little cable cars climb halfway to the stars. The morning fog may chill the air. I don't care, my love waits there in San Francisco, above the blue and windy sea. When I come home to you, San Francisco, your golden sun will shine for me. When I come home to you, San Francisco, your golden sun will shine for me.
As night descends softly through the majestic redwoods, the sounds of revelry are accompanied by the hiss, crackle, and wood-perfumed smoke of 100 and more campfires. These are the welcoming hearts of all grove camps, as well as the rustic communal grill and campfire circle. Around these glowing logs, bohemians gather to sing and play music, tell sometimes ribald jokes, swap stories of questionable veracity, or simply talk to one another on topics weighty and trivial.
These I have on the river road, the lake, the trees, and a wisp of smoke, a peal of laughter, a moment after the breeze. There's sun and shadows, a tinkling stream, a friendly fire, and the redwood trees, and all of these are mine on the river road. There is toil and tie binders, Tunaville, Mandalay, pig and whistle, aviary, Silverado squatters, band camp, Cuckoo's Nest, Midway Abbey, doghouse, uplifters, hillbillies, wolf, on the river road. There is Crow's Nest, Hulapai, Totem Last Chance, Jungle, Zapka, Outpost, and our 7 trees, and all of these are mine on the river road. On the river road there's a bridge beach. A splash, a shout, and laughter that echoes through the trees. And all of these are mine on the river road.
Oh, back in 1911, vaudeville was in its heaven. Everyone was doing it, doing it, doing it. Everyone was frivolous and gay. Comedians in baggy pants were followed by precision dancers. Then upon the stage at a slightly smaller wage appeared the old quartet, and in a style you can't forget, they open up and sing this way. Billy McCoy was a musical boy on the cruiser Alabama. He was there on that piano like a fish down in the sea. When he rattled off some melody, every night out on the ocean he would get that raggy notion, start that syncopated motion lovingly. I'll take it, fellas. No one could sleep way out there on the deep. I made it. Every sailor boy began to holler, ship ahoy, when Billy cuts loose at sea. You ought to see it. Every worm begins to twist and squirm. The ship begins to dip, and as the corkscrew turns, the smoke is rolling black from out the smoky stack. It's floating up to heaven, and it won't come back. Here and there you see a stool and chair, a slipping round the cabin shouting, I don't care. And then the bell begins to ring, and the hammer starts to swinging. Sitting at that piano there on the Alabama, playing the Oceana roll. Now when the bell begins to ring, when the hammock begins to swing, you better man the Billy. There goes Billy. Every little worm gives a little squirm. The ship goes dipping in a corkscrew turn. That smoke so black, floating up to heaven, and it won't come back. That Oceana roll, roll me over gently. Sailor Billy boy is the real McCoy. His ship goes whoop, whoop, whoop with joy. There upon the Alabama, sitting at the old piano, knocking out a raggy rhythm. Everybody's dancing with him, rolling on the mighty ocean with a gay and easy motion. He plays that Oceana roll, the Oceana roll.
these vassals who keep in this gray autumn of the world her springtime in your hearts, I charge ye now. For lasting happiness we lift our eyes to one alone, and she surrounds you now. Great nature, refuge of the weary heart, and only balm for breasts that have been bruised. Her counsels are most wise. So must ye come as children, little children that believe, nor ever doubt her beauty and her faith, nor dream her tenderness can change or die.
Beauty and strength and peace, they are yours, they shall never cease, while the trees are at the hills. The stars come in with the night, and the wind, like a presence, fills the temple aisles of the world. It is yours, it is gone, it is made for your delight.
everybody and they all know you. And even policemen say, how do you do? Pals by the score and gals galore. And that old gang of mine, they sang Sweetheart Line down our way. Oh, gee, but I wish that I could wander through the fields of clover and the new mown hay, and go strolling down a dusty country road amid the beautiful flowers that bloom in May. And on Saturday night you go a-courting with your girlie 'neath the bright and silvery moon. And on the way to church on Sunday morning people say, how do you do? I'd love to sit once more and spin a yarn with all the boys down at the corner grocery store. I can almost see the good luck horseshoe hanging up above the village smithy's door. And that old gang of mine, they sang Sweetheart Line. How would you like to come along with me and wander down our way? Down our way.
Headed down life's crooked road, lots of things I never know. Because of me not knowing, now I find trouble got in the trail. Spent the next 5 years in jail. Should have read that detour sign. Detour, there's a muddy road ahead. Detour, paid no mind to what it said. Detour, all those better things I find. Should have read that detour sign. When I got right to the place where it said about things, I thought that all my worries were behind. But the farther I go, the more sorrow I know. Should have read that detour sign. Detour, there's a muddy road ahead. Detour, paid no mind to what it said. Detour, all those better things I find. Should have read that detour sign. When I got stuck in the mud, all my hopes dropped with a thud. I guess that my heartstrings are made of twine. Had no willpower to get from that hole I'm in yet. Should have read that detour sign. Detour, there's a muddy road ahead. Detour, paid no mind to what it said. Detour, all those better things I find. Should have read that detour sign. Climbing up the kitchen hill, steaming like a whiskey still. A long tall drink at Owl's Nest on my mind. Stumbled down late that night, must have been an awful sight. Should have read that detour sign. Detour, there's a muddy road ahead. Detour, paid no mind to what it said. Detour, all those bitter things I find. Should have read that detour sign. Should have read that detour sign. Should have read that detour sign.
When I walked into the Grove today, I got to thinking that there possibly could be a few of us who might occasionally tend to forget the wonderful thrill we experienced that first encampment day. I hope I never shall. You see, I'd been living in New York about 20 years or so, and every summer, many of my friends would pack their gear and go out to California to a place they called the Grove. They talked so much about it. For many years, I strove to get an invitation to see it for myself while I still had time and energy and a fair degree of health. And one year, I finally made it. Don't think I'll ever be the same. 2 weeks in the woods with 1,000 men and not a single dame. Oh, yes, there's Monte Rio, which we never talk about. Matter of fact, anything that went on outside the Grove, to me, was definitely out. Now, getting this invitation wasn't too easy a trick, but I'm so glad I've been there. Now I know what makes it tick, and I'd like to tell you about it in my own but simple way. And there's so much, I think I'll just take parts of the very first day. I was told to be at the club on Friday, a little afternoon, to have a bite, and of course some drinks in that famous cartoon room. Well, after one or two, I sort of expected to go up to lunch. But when they ordered another round, I sort of had a hunch that eating was unimportant on this first encampment day. So I might just as well relax and let come what may. Well, presently we found our bags and got into a car and crossed the bridge and suddenly stopped at a place called Marville Moor. It's a sort of a roadhouse with a jukebox bar and all, and a Marilyn Monroe calendar hanging on the wall. We shook for a drink and had a toasted sandwich at the bar and paid the check and washed our hands and got back in the car. And then we started to roll along. I thought we'd be there soon, but oh no, we had to stop at Petaluma's Redwood Room. Well, that didn't take too long, and soon we were on our way down through lovely valleys with farms and fields of hay. Oh, it was beautiful country. I don't know how far we drove, but suddenly I saw a sign that said, "Half-mile Bohemian Grove." So we made the turn and went along, came downhill to a gate, and when I saw that sea of cars, I was sure we must be late until I was told there were many members still quite far behind us, a couple of them probably stopping along to see if they could find us. Well, we checked our bags, and it was suggested that we walk a little way, and I, of course, was delighted. It was such a warm and sunny day. So we started out, and suddenly I found myself actually in the Grove. And I stopped a moment and thought back over all the years that I'd hoped to make this moment possible, when I would finally be here. And I was so happy about it. I guess I could have shed a tear at the quiet and the beauty, that wonderful smell of burning wood, and those age-old, priceless redwood trees, which for centuries have stood looking down on this peaceful scene and guarding it so well. And if those wise old trees could talk, oh, the tales they'd tell of laughter and companionship, of music and good cheer, of bright and friendly campfires, of nights so cool and clear, of noonday talks beside the lake, of sunlight on the trees, or music from some far distant camp, gently wafted on the breeze. Well, I'd better rejoin my friends before they get too far, and as I catch up, they're approaching what they call the campfire bar. There's a group standing around, comfortable, relaxed, and happy, listening to a tale told by a friend that they call Pappy. I was immediately introduced and quickly given a drink, and as I stood there quietly listening, I couldn't help but think of all the friends that I had who were so far, far away, who would give their soul to be here with me this first encampment day. Well, being my first time in the Grove, I thought I should get to my camp. I'd located it on the map, but it looked like a bit of a tramp, and my friend said, "Oh, relax, take it easy, don't get in a fuss. We'll have just one drink for the road, and then we'll take a bus." Well, sure enough, one came along, and most of us piled in. There was quite a crowd aboard, and it was lucky I was thin. We bumped our way along up the hill, and they let me off at my gate. I walked quickly into camp, hoping I wasn't late. There were groups sitting around, some playing dominoes, a couple pounding a piano, and one guy squirting a hose. The camp captain jumped up and introduced himself and presented me to the group and inquired about my health. Then he suggested I find my bags, get settled, and take a shower, because it wouldn't be too long before the evening cocktail hour. So I changed my clothes and came down and made myself a drink and watched the last rays of the setting sun turn all the sky so pink. Oh, it was wonderfully cozy there sitting by the fire, and I could hear my friends in New York saying, "Why, you silly damned old liar, a fire in July, you say? Have you really lost your head? The next thing you'll be telling us, you slept with blankets on your bed." Well, the camp captain suggested we better drink up and go and down and have some dinner and see the campfire show. So we walked slowly down the hill. It was a beautiful night, and below me was the dining circle. An unbelievable sight with those countless rows of happy faces reflected in the light of 1,000 tiny little flames, all sparkling in the breeze and casting dancing shadows on the tall green trees. Laughter, greetings, singing, glasses raised on high. A picture no artist could paint. You shouldn't even try. Well, after dinner was over, we sauntered down through the trees, and they showed me Diana's statue, so graceful on her knees. Then we reached the campfire circle and stretched out on the ground, and the orchestra was tuning up. To me, a wonderful sound. And I lay on my back and watched the sparks go drifting to the sky. I think I could have gone to sleep without too hard a try. Then there were some announcements about Perry's Rim Ride, Professor Fritz's lecture, some talk at the lakeside. And then the music began to play and echoed through the trees. And the lights came up and the show was on. They called it Scattered Leaves. I couldn't quite believe it as I lay there by the fire. It was all so easily, simply done by this man they call a sire. Well, after the show was over, he walked across to the bar and met some friends and had a drink. I bought a club cigar. Then we thought we'd go visiting down the river road and tried to catch a ride on a bus, but it had too heavy a load. So we started to hoof it. It wasn't much of a tramp. We were heading for an insignificant, unheard of, simple little spot. They call it by name Wolf Camp. When we walked in, of course, all the grove was gathered around the fire, listening to a tale told by the camp's own personal sire. His name, of course, Roy Folger, and he's a wonderful old goat with his straw hat and his bow tie and his long dark overcoat. He was telling us a tale of Bohemia that happened long ago when he had a lead in a Grove play and nearly wrecked the show. But I shall always cherish the memory of that first encampment day. Good night, Roy. We'll see you next year.
By the old Moulmein Pagoda, looking eastward to the sea, there's a Burma girl a-settin', and I know she thinks of me. For the wind is in the palm trees, and the temple bells, they say, come you back, you British soldier, come you back to Mandalay, come you back to Mandalay, come you back to Mandalay, where the old flotilla lay. Can't you hear the paddles chunkin' from Rangoon to Mandalay? On the road to Mandalay, where the flying fishes play, and the dawn comes up like thunder out of China across the bay.
Lightly, lightly
Noted Bohemian author Herman Wouk wrote of the Bohemian Grove as a stupendously successful illusion, a gossamer spell that challenged his own formidable descriptive skills. Sunlight shafting through the redwoods can be captured in paint, but scarcely in words, he wrote. So, too, the brotherly affection of men for each other. Perhaps this is because the Grove, as the wellspring of the Bohemian spirit, is better described by its sounds than even by the most carefully and colorfully chosen words. For it is the sounds, the laughter, music, and drama of the Grove that most faithfully explain the spirit of Bohemia. It is the laughter of men experiencing the soothing ambiance of a great ancient forest, far removed spiritually as well as geographically from the clatter and clutter of the cities whence they came. It is the joyful banter of men who have put aside the cares and responsibilities of everyday life for a few precious days of easy camaraderie with fellow men of all social and professional stations of life, high, low, and in between. It is the music of men playing and singing for the sheer joy of bringing creative satisfaction to themselves and entertainment to others. It is the drama and comedy, written and performed by playwrights and actors whose zeal and dedication may outweigh their skills, but whose audiences are as generously appreciative as hit show first-nighters on Broadway. These, then, are some of the sounds that announce to Bohemians, midsummer sets you free.
клювешки своей. Еду, еду, еду к ней, еду к клювешки своей. Еду, еду, еду к ней, прямо к клювешке своей. Oh, you horses running swiftly, oh, the cold and frosty snow, do not tarry to my dearest carry my joyful heart and faithful soul, riding, riding, oh so swiftly, oh the cold and frosty snow. Do not waste a single moment, love is precious more than gold. Oh, we кони удали, чьи сокола быстрей. Не теряйте ни золотые, их немного визнесей. Еду, еду, еду к ней, еду к клювешке своей. Еду, еду, еду к ней, прямо к клювешке своей. Еду, еду, еду к ней, прямо к клювешке своей.
Dawn of this country, before the birth of man, legend tells the story of these trees, how in the morning light the eagle in its flight would soar over mountains and seas, and it was good, and it was good. And at night in the evening, when stars came out to shine, owls took the sky on silent wing. They hunted fish and fowl, the eagle and the owl, and each in his manner was king. And it was good, and it was good. They learned to share, they learned the harmony of living together in the sky. They got along, they learned the destiny, respecting each other's right to fly. And so they grew in numbers, and stronger they became. Evenings found the owl in his domain. The eagle flew at dawn. The message can be drawn to symbols of our land, entwined they'll always stand. The eagle and the owl will both remain.
I could no more say no to him than this rubber duck could fly. All we can do is... yes, yes, yes. Did he ever stop to think that there weren't a lot of dummies in the world like me? He wouldn't look half as smart. Somebody has to be no one. Somebody has to be plain. If everyone were a somebody, they'd all be nobodies again. Some of us must do the losing. Everyone can't win the game without the anonymous failure who'd know who had fortune and fame. The naturally dominant would never be prominent if we were all equally bright. Without the inferior, there'd be no superior. If no one is wrong, no one's right. Someone must follow the leader. Captains can't sail without crews. A general needs millions of soldiers. A star must have crowds to enthuse. Someone must sit in the gallery. Everyone can't be on stage. Who'd be there to do the applauding? Whose doings would fill the front page? And who'd be upper classified if we weren't stratified by income, ambition, or birth? And what would the pleasure be in filling a treasury if no one would envy your worth? Somebody has to be no one, destined to flounder and flop. If everyone climbed up the ladder, there wouldn't be room at the top. The inconsequential are really essential, and it's very clear to see. An average slow one, a noticed and low one, someone who's a no one, that's me.
In every kind of business there are those who take the bows, the big shots who stand out in front while others milk the cows. At tournaments you all applaud the knights, that's understood, but we're the guys behind the knights that make them look so good. We are the men behind the scenes, we are the boys who wear the jeans, we are the guys who never shirk, we are the blokes who do the work. I tip the lance, I mend the pants, I shoe the nag, I hold the bag, I mop the blood, I clean the crud, the men behind the scenes. When knights in shining armor dazzle all the audience, well, we're the guys who shine it up and take out all the dents. When errants fight the dragons in their hot and fiery den, well, we're the guys behind the scenes that sew them up again. We are the men behind the scenes, we are the boys who wear the jeans, we are the guys who never shirk, we are the blokes who do the work. I tip the lance, I mend the pants, I shoe the nag, I hold the bag, I mop the crud, I clean the crud, the men behind the scenes. When heroes gallop league on league, a kiss or two to put, Well, we're the loyal retainers that must trudge along on foot. When victors win fair demoiselles and lead exciting lives, well, we're the guys they leave back home to pacify their wives. We are the men behind the scenes. We are the boys who wear the jeans. We are the boys who never shirk. We are the books who do the work. I tip the lance, I mend the pants, I shoe the nag, I hold the bag, I mop the clod, I clean the crud, the men behind the scenes.
We'd like to play for you a love song entitled, "She Wouldn't Make Love to Me Down on the Farm, but She Did Give Me a Couple of Acres."
You know, this fella got off a plane in New York, and he went up to this little Irish cab driver, and he said, "Take me to the Church of Christ." So the little cab driver took him on Fifth Avenue to St. Patrick's Cathedral. He got out, he said, "I told you I wanted to go to the Church of Christ." He said, "If he ain't in there, he ain't in town." That's what he said. Up that lazy river, by that old mill run, lazy, lazy river, in the noonday sun, linger in the shade of a kind old tree. Throw away your troubles, have a dream with me. Up that lazy river, where that robin song comes on with the bright new morning. Blow, blow, blow along. Blue skies up above. We got everyone in love. Up that lazy river, how happy you can be. Up that lazy river with me.
The older folks smile with eyes shining bright, and so many stories to tell. They've lived all their lives with a faith that survived, good shepherds to us as well. The fireweed fades on those warm summer days. It's autumn this time in their lives. When two become one, their love is so strong that forever isn't very much time. Ooh, Queen Anne's lace, her favorite flower in their favorite place. Lace, so tender and dear, it blooms every year in the alpenglow shade of the mountains and glades. A love like that never dies. Ooh, Queen Anne's lace, so fragile, lovely and fine. When the fireweed fades on those warm summer days, you know autumn is coming again. They walk by the stream and talk of their dreams. So many have come true for them. He stares in her eyes to see her surprise as he places the flowers in her hair. Their youth may be gone, but their love is so strong that it's carried them 56 years. Ooh, Queen Anne's lace, her favorite flower in their favorite place. Lace, so tender and dear, it blooms every year in the alpenglow shade of the mountains and glades. A love like theirs never dies. Ooh, so fragile, lovely and fine. In their favorite place. Ooh, Queen Anne's lace, so tender and dear, it blooms every year here in the alpenglow shade of the mountains and glades. A love like theirs never dies. Ooh, Queen Anne's lace, so fragile, lovely and fine. So fragile, lovely and
While the artistic endeavors of Bohemia do not always rise to the level of professional entertainment, the participants, performers, writers, and directors, are no less dedicated to their Bohemian avocations than those at the highest levels of those same arts, and no less eager to be recognized. Competition is keen for time on the Grove's stages and around campfires at parties, especially for roles in the Grove's major productions, the Grove Play and the Low Jinks. But unlike the world of professional entertainment, where many are called but few are chosen, in Bohemia, all who feel the call will be chosen, at least to carry a spear.
From coast to coast we all can boast and sing a toast to one who's made a name for being game. He was born with wings as great as any bird that flies. A lucky star guides him afar.
Lucky Lindy, up in the sky, fair or windy, he's flying high. Fearless, fearless, knows every cloud. Why, he's the kind of son makes a mother feel proud. Lucky Lindy rides all alone, whoa, in a little plane of his own. Lucky Lindy shows him the way, and he's the hero of the day.
Just like a child, he simply smiled while we were wild with fear. That Yankee lad, the world went mad. Everywhere they prayed for him to safely cross the sea. And here I, in gay Paris,
Lucky Lindy, up in the sky, fair or windy, he's flying high. Fearless, fearless, knows every cloud. Why, he's the kind of son makes a mother feel proud. Lucky Lindy rides all alone in a little plane of his own. Lucky Lindy shows them the way, and he's a hero of the day. Lucky Lindy shows them the way, and he's a hero of the day.
Thank you.
Did you not hear my lady go down the garden singing? Blackbird and thrush were silent to hear the alleys ringing. Oh, saw you not my lady out in the garden there, shaming the rose and lily, for she is twice as fair. Though I am nothing to her, though she must rarely look at me, and though I could never woo her, I love her till I die. Surely you heard my lady go down the garden singing, silencing all the songbirds and setting the alleys ringing. But surely you see my lady out in the garden there, rivaling the glittering sunshine with a glory of golden hair.
The Low Jinks, an audacious major production, an original musical comedy, written, composed, crafted, and performed by Bohemians. What an aura! The intimate Field Circle stage, an exuberant audience of 1,800 aching to have a good time. All of you know the scene. First, the band has our heads throbbing with brassy music. In time, the blue Sonoma skies turn black. The orchestra lights brighten. The conductor threads his way to the podium. The baton rises. The overture starts. It's the Low Jinks, and there is nothing like it in all the world.
Listed in Fortune magazine.
You mean you created an entire man out of parts made by the Fortune 500?
Yep, Wally. An all-American American. The legs I got from Sperry Rand, the brains from IBM, the plastic parts came from DuPont, the steel from Bethlehem, the eyes arrived from Bausch & Lomb, the ears from ITT. Hewlett-Packard built the chips that built its memory, and they all came together in America, my plan. And if you wonder whether in America you can. I failed to get his voice to speak, the system too complex. But is the problem really me, or is it Memorex? For reproduction, Xerox said they'd send the whole shebang. Timken sent me silver balls, and guess what came from Wang? And they all came together in America, my plan. And if you wonder whether in America you can. On this very spot they call the melting pot, here's how what we got all began. In America, for America, there's an all-American band. This very spot they call the melting pot, Here's how what we got all began. In America, for America, here's an all-American man. An all-American man.
Oh, boss, I love it when you're bad.
Yes, I'm so good at being bad, aren't I? I've got a story to tell you, boys, so listen to what I say. I'm hard-hearted. The awful things I've started make me what I am today. I was a really bad baby, boys. The original, terrible too. My evil ways were cursory, set fire to the nursery, and barbecued the nanny too. I'm no good, and I like it that way. We bad guys have such fun. Lying and stealing, what a good feeling. Looking out for number one. I'm glad. And I'm bad. Really, really bad. I put a bee in baby brother's bonnet and took his candy while he cried. An adolescent firebrand, I smuggled snakes to Ireland, something that I did with pride. I made the London Bridge fall down. I made the Tower of Pisa lean. With my style sardonic, I spread the plague bubonic by the time I was 17.
As you always say, boss, everything's better with bubonic on it.
Demi-Modo, shut up while I'm singing. I'm no good, and I like it that way. We bad guys have such fun. Lying and stealing, what a good feeling. Looking out for number one. Looking out for number one.
I'm still Jack Bickle, and I'm the stage manager now for the 1986 Low Jinks, The Porter Plot, written by Chuck Denton and Jack Rogers. The conductor and director, Dick Barrett, has a dynamite idea for closing to the show. Finale that's never been seen before in all of Bohemia. Something to inspire wonder and awe. Here's the scene. You've got a stage full of townspeople, and you've got a band over here. Back here is a statue of Edgar Porter, and at the unveiling, the crowd is going to cheer and the band is going to play, and from backstage, we're going to let loose a whole flock of pigeons. The pigeons will circle into the night sky with following spotlights, and we'll have the wonder and awe effect. Well, word gets out that the Grove is looking for pigeons. Bohemians want a lot of pigeons. And the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals actually investigated. They wanted to know if the Bohemians were going to shoot them or eat them or, well, what? This got straightened out, and the grovekeeper, Jerry Dahl, knew a farmer who had a lot of extra pigeons, and so for $5 a pop, we bought a huge chicken wire cage full of pigeons. pigeons were brought over, and everybody was very happy about the pigeons. They were really lively. Anybody got near the cage, they jumped around. These pigeons were flyers. And on top of that, the two guys who were in charge of the pigeons really knew a lot about launching things. One was a captain in nuclear submarines at Denver McCune, who was really knew about launching, and another one was Alex Davis, who was a rodeo cowboy and knew about getting things out of the gate. This was a can't-miss deal. On the night of the rehearsal, great. Show roared along, came to the crashing end. The crowd roared, the band played as the statue was unveiled, and the spots went up. But of course, we only had one set of pigeons, so we didn't open the gate. We had to save them for the next night. But it looked good. So come the show, great show, roared along toward this unbelievable finale. We knew wonder and awe was a cinch, and sure enough, the statue was unveiled, the crowd roared, the band played, and backstage they opened the lid of the chicken coop and looked out and looked up, and there were no pigeons. The pigeons were all asleep in the bottom of the cage, clutching the chicken wire with their little claws for dear life. Outside, wonder and awe was beginning to happen. The stage people were wondering, where the hell are the pigeons? And the crowd was wondering, what the hell are we supposed to see? Backstage, in desperation, we picked up the chicken wire cage and went, whoa, like this, and the pigeons all go, whoa, but they're not. They're awake now, but they're not going anywhere. And so in desperation, we grabbed the pigeons, went and ripped them off the chicken wire and launched them over them. Backstage, it was where the awe was taking place. It was pretty awful. These are guys covered with chicken scratches and pigeon crap everywhere. And the pigeons didn't fly. They grabbed onto the trees to the set. Some of them came down on stage, and some backstage pigeons just walked. Next day, somebody walked up to Barrett on the River Road and said, Barrett, don't you know about pigeons? Barrett said, what about pigeons? He said, pigeons never, ever fly at night. No business like show business.
When first I came to JLR, I knew I had this talent. But what it was, or why it was far less than apparent. You see, I couldn't dance, I couldn't sing, I stunk at almost everything. Tune and rhythm, not a clue. Strindberg, Ibsen, Mamet. Who? So, considering all that I was not, how could I possibly succeed? Then I remembered those 3 little words that Mother told me.
Screw the producer?
Gosh, no. That was Father McKinty's advice. Mother said, practice, 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 practice. And so I did. Practice, 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 practice. Practice, 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 practice. Now I dance like Fred Astaire and sing like John Raitt. I act like Shakespeare was my dad and my mom was Tallulah. I paid my dues, my training's through. There's not a thing that I can't do. So curtain up and cue the pit. Mickey's gonna be a great big hit. I'm really gonna make it big on Broadway if it's the last stinking thing I ever do. My skill and my flair, my looks debonair will surely bring me starring roles. I know I'll have my share. I'm gonna really make it big on Broadway. Without a doubt, I'll be a star someday. I'm simply the best. I've passed all the tests. What's more, everybody, I'm a guy who likes breasts. I'm really gonna make it big on Broadway if it's the last stinking thing I ever do.
Really gonna make it big on Broadway if it's the last stinking thing we ever do. I'll be a big star, the biggest by far.
I'll sleep with all my co-stars.
I'll smoke big cigars.
We're really gonna make it big on Broadway. Doesn't forget the muck that went before.
I've made all the cuts, no ifs, ands, or buts. And you can see it's really me, an artist with guts. I'm really gonna make it big on Broadway if it's the last stinking thing I ever do. Come on, gang, we can all make it.
Just like P and the Dora. We're really gonna make it big on Broadway if it's the last stinking thing we ever do. We'll dance and we'll sing, do most anything. Go on the road with Sweetie Toad.
Steve Sondheim's latest thing.
We're really gonna make it big on Broadway. If that shouldn't be a crime. So now hand in hand, together we stand. The happy ending just in sight, exactly as we planned. We're really gonna make it big on Broadway if it's the last stinking thing we ever.
Last stinking thing we ever.
Last stinking thing we ever do.
It's a long, long time from May to December, and the days grow short when you reach September, and the autumn weather turns the leaves to flame. I haven't got time for the waiting again. And the days turn to gold as they grow few. September, November, and these few golden days I'd spend with you. These precious days I'd spend with you. No, shh. Hear me out. Hear me out. You, he said, when you meet with the young men early in spring, they'll court you with song and rhyme. They'll woo you with words and a clover ring. But if you'll examine the gifts they bring, they have little to offer but the songs they sing and a plentiful waste of time of day. A plentiful waste of time.
And these few precious days I'll spend with you. These precious days I'll spend with you. Oh, the days dwindle down to a precious few.
I'll spend with you.
My family has traditions, I've heard them 1,000 times. My relatives are not excessively bright. They love to go out on missions to rather peculiar climes and lead the wretched heathen to the light. They frequently get beaten up in course of these rampages, while dear Aunt Maud got eaten up while singing Rock of Ages. These family expeditions admittedly are a bore, but there's just one uncle that I positively adore. Poor Uncle Harry wanted to be a missionary, so he took a ship and sailed away. This visionary, hotly pursued by dear Aunt Mary, found a South Sea isle on which to play. The natives treated them kindly and invited them to dine on clams and yams and human hams and vintage coconut wine, the taste of which was filthy, but the after effects divine. Poor Uncle Harry, he got a bit gay and longed to tarry. This Aunt Mary couldn't quite allow. She lectured him severely on a number of church affairs, but when she went to bed he made his getaway down the stairs, for he longed to hear the answer to a few of the maiden's prayers. Uncle Harry's not a missionary now. Poor Uncle Harry, having become a missionary, found the natives' morals rather crude. He and Aunt Mary swiftly imposed an arbitrary ban upon them shopping in the nude. The natives didn't take this kindly, and they didn't take it well. They burned his boots and several suits and wrecked the mission hotel. But when they burned his Macintosh, it made a disgusting smell. Poor Uncle Harry, after a word from dear Aunt Mary, called upon the chiefs for a powwow. They didn't brandish knives at him, they really were awfully sweet. They made concerted dives at him and they offered him things to eat. But when they threw their wives at him, he had to admit defeat. Uncle Harry's not a missionary now, now, now. Uncle Harry, Uncle Harry, Uncle Harry, Uncle Harry. Uncle Harry's not a missionary.
After that, I think we're all ready to be saved. So, Harmon, where are you? Let's throw out the lifeline.
Throw out the lifeline across the dark wave. There is a brother whom someone should save. Somebody's brother, oh, who then will dare to throw out the lifeline, his peril to share? Throw out the lifeline, throw out the lifeline, someone is drifting away. Throw out the lifeline, throw out the lifeline, someone is sinking today. Soon will the season of rescue be o'er. Soon will they drift to eternity. eternity's shore. Haste then, dear brother, no time to delay. So throw out the lifeline and save them today. Throw out the lifeline, throw out the lifeline. Someone is drifting away. Throw out the lifeline, throw out the lifeline. Someone is sinking today. Sleepy breeze in the redwood trees, hush my baby's cries. Sweetly press your soft caress of summer on baby's eyes. Lull my baby to drowsy head, whisper low till the night is spent, and found the nest where he takes his rest. And hush my baby, hush my baby to
Ezekiel saw the wheel in a wheel in a wheel in the middle, in the middle, in the middle, in the middle of the air.
Ezekiel saw the wheel
Way up in the middle of the air. Oh,
Ezekiel saw the wheel
way in the middle of the air.
That little wheel run by faith,
And the big wheel run by the grace of God. 'Tis a wheel in a wheel in a wheel in a wheel. Way in the middle of the air. Some go to church for to sing and shout. Way in the middle of the air. Before 6 months they's all turned out. Way in the middle of the air.
Ezekiel saw the wheel
Way up in the middle of the air. Oh,
Ezekiel saw the wheel
way in the middle of the air.
That little wheel run by faith,
And the big wheel run by the grace of God. 'Tis a wheel in a wheel in a wheel in a wheel. Way in the middle of the air. Let me tell you what a hypocrite'll do. Way in the middle of the air. He'll talk about me and he'll talk about you. Way in the middle of the air.
Ezekiel saw that wheel.
Way in the middle of the air.
Ezekiel saw that wheel.
Way in the middle of the air. The little wheel run by hope and the big wheel run by faith.
my children.
One of these days, about 12 o'clock, way up in the middle of the air, look out, this old world is gonna re-reel and rock, pow, like Daddy in his rocking chair.
Ezekiel saw the wheel
rocking away up in the middle of the air.
Ezekiel saw the wheel
rocking away in the middle, in the middle, in the middle, in the middle, in the middle of the air.
Ezekiel saw the wheel
way up in the middle of the air. Oh,
Ezekiel saw the wheel
way in the middle of the air.
That little wheel run by faith,
and the big wheel run by the grace of God. 'Tis a wheel in a wheel in a wheel in a wheel. Way in the middle of the
art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever.
The second emotional experience at the heart of Bohemia, described by Herman Wouk, is the awe inspired by the trees. These oldest and grandest of living things, he wrote, are an almost visible signature of the Creator put to his natural handiwork. The awe is inescapable for longtime members and newcomers alike. Likewise, Wouk continues, is a pervasive sense that the grove and the spirit it inspires are gifts from some higher power that men can only feel with their hearts.
Rolling river, tell me, what do you see on your long, long journey from the mountains to the sea? Do you sparkle in the sunshine? Does your rushing river flow? Rolling river, take me with you when you go. I have been traveling for such a long time, searching for something to call mine. I can hear your water splashing, and it's almost like a song. I could listen to your music all night long. Rolling river, tell me, what do you see on your long, long journey from the mountains to the sea? Do you sparkle in the sunshine? Does your rushing river flow? Rolling river, take me with you when you go.
If my body's feeling restless like your hurried waters flow, I'm longing to go somewhere, but I've got no place to go. Pack my dreams up in my guitar case, sing these words I know. Rolling river, take me with you when you go.
Rolling river, tell me, what do you see on your long, long journey from the mountains to the sea? Do you sparkle in the sunshine? Does your rushing river flow? Rolling river, take me with you when you go.
When I'm away from that river and I'm working overtime,
running from that dull care who's no friend of mine. Then I'll head on down that river road and everything is fine. Russian River, take me back home to the Grove.
Rolling River, tell me, what do you see on your long, long journey from the mountains to the sea? Do you sparkle in the sunshine? Does your Russian River flow? Rolling River, take me with you when you go. Rolling River, take me with you. Take me with you when you go.
All famous riders in swarms do it. Somerset and all the moms do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. The Brontes felt that they must do it. Ernest Hemingway could just do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. E.L.N.O. Ho, 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 did it, though he did it in verse. H. Beecher Stowe did it, but she had to rehearse. Tennessee Williams, self-taught, did it. Kinsey with a deafening report, did it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. In Texas, some of the men do it. Others drill a hole and then do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Each tiny clam you consume does it. Even Tammy Baker, we assume, does it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. My kith and kin, more or less, do it. Every uncle and aunt. But I confess to it, I've a cousin who can't. Teenager squeezed into jeans, do it. Probably will live to see machines do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love.
Do 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 do.
No gal maid has got a shade on sweet Georgia Brown. Two left feet, but also neat hands, sweet Georgia Brown. They all sigh and wanna die for sweet Georgia Brown. I'll tell you why, you know I don't lie. Not much. It's been since she knocks him dead when she lands in town. Since she came, why it's a shame how she cools him down. Fellas, she can't get our fellas, she ain't met. Neighbor Georgia claimed her, sweet Georgia Brown. No gal maid has got a shade of sweet Georgia Brown. Georgia Brown, two left feet, but also neat hands.
Zam!
Kaboom!
Wham! I think you man.
It's been said she knocks 'em dead when she lands in town. Oh, fellas, she can't get our fellas, she ain't met. Georgia named her, Georgia claimed her, sweet Georgia Brown.
No gal maid has got a shade on sweet Georgia Brown. Tailing two left feet, but oh so neat hands, sweet Georgia Brown. Well, they all sigh and wanna die for sweet Georgia Brown. I'm telling you why.
Why, oh why? Not much. Now it's been said she knocks 'em dead when she lands in town. Since she came, why it's a shame how she cools 'em down. Fellas, that she can't get our fellas, she ain't met. Georgia named her, Georgia claimed her, sweet Georgia Brown. Sweet Georgia Brown. summer day withers away. Too soon, speak low. When you speak love, our moment is swift like ships adrift. We're swept apart too soon. Speak low when you speak love. Love is a spark lost in the dark. Too soon, and I feel wherever I go, tomorrow is here, tomorrow is near, and always too soon. Time is old and love so brief. Love is pure gold and time's a thief. We're late, oh honey, we're late. The curtain descends, everything ends. Too soon, but I'll wait. Darling, I'll wait. Will you speak low to me, speak low to me, and soon. Time is so old and love is so brief. Love is pure gold and time is nothing but a thief. We're late, darling, we're late. The curtain descends, everything ends. Too soon, but I'll wait. Darling, I'll wait. Will you speak low to me, speak love to me, and soon.
I don't know if you know Henry Eaton. Henry's got the sardine carry out to each port, Maine. But I seen Henry over at the Grange one night. I said, Henry, do you ever go fishing on the dory? He says, yeah. Going out next Sunday. Come on down to the dock about 4:30. Well, I got up and went down to the dock about 4:30. And there was Henry and this nice-looking young couple and this big woman. God Almighty, she was talking a blue streak. I asked Henry, I said, who's the big woman? He says, I don't know, I think it's her mother. They're a young honeymoon couple from Boston, and they come up here, and I'm taking them out. Oh, I said, she's not going fishing. He says, don't you worry. He says, she'll quiet right down. As soon as she gets out in the water, they always do. So we got in the boat, and Henry started up the old Atlantic, and we started go right down toward Lubeck Narrows. And, once you get through the Narrows, there's Quag Light out there, and Henry ground the spark on the old Atlantic, and she goes, and, we just sort of sat there in the trough, rolling gunnel down both sides, and the shore breeze is holding us on, and the ebb tide's holding us off, and fishing's good. God, every time I put my line in, I catch a fish, and that young girl, she's catching 2 to my 1, just snapping them off the hook on the mother line down there on the bottom boards. Poor woman, she weren't feeling too good, I guess, because she started to make a move toward the rail, and she misjudged the roll, and she went right out over. Went down like a stun, she went, not even a bubble come up. I cast about for a boat hook, saw to get her alongside, and we get shallow water, maybe she clumb aboard, but not even a bubble come up. Of course, the young girl, she's all upset, don't you know? And Henry says, now don't you worry, young girl, we'll get your mother back for you. They always come up, he says. Takes about 10 days. I think it's the bloat that does it. Anyhow, that sort of spiraled the fishing, and we went on back up to Eastport. And I didn't think much about it for most a week. Then Henry come into the store, and she said, she come up. I said, who come up? He says, the big woman. She come up. Can I make a telephone call down to Boston? I said, well, I guess so. So I said, make it short, though. So anyhow, he cranks up the telephone, gets Beulah Bannon, she's our town operator. He explains the whole thing to Beulah, so she understands. And then Beulah puts him through down to Boston, gets that young fella on the phone. She come up, had 6 lobsters hanging on to her, all keepers. She weren't wearing our colors, you know, so I guess they're his. But I just figure I'll pack them up in ice and send them down to you on the afternoon train. Pardon me, sir? What's that? Oh, no, sir, you don't have to hurry right up. Fact is, you give us another 10 days, we'll set her again for you.
Dibby 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 dim 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 dibby 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 dim
Shooby doo up bop bop shooby doo up shooby doo up shooby doo up bop bop shooby doo up shooby doo up shooby doo up bop yeah shooby doo up bop bop oh oh oh.
Well, there's a light coming from the window and it shines down on the street. There's some guy standing on the corner making that good old harmony. And if the light coming from the window shines on the street corner symphony, turn on the light and let them sing. They're making that good old harmony. Well, I'm talking about soul to soul, soul to soul. Yeah, brother to brother, brother to brother. Oh, acapella. Oh, it sounds good. Sure sounds good to me. Soul to soul, soul to soul. Yeah, brother to brother, brother to brother. Oh, acapella. Oh, it sounds good to me. Well, I just want it understood. These boys brought boogie to the neighborhood, and they're standing under the light, oh, and singing, well, they're singing that good old acapella, and it sounds so sweet. Turn on the light and let them sing. They're making that good old harmony. Well, I'm talking about soul to soul, soul to soul. Yeah, brother to brother, brother to brother. Oh, acapella, oh, it sounds good. Sure sounds good to me. Soul to soul, soul to soul. Yeah, brother to brother. Oh, acapella, oh, it sounds good to me. Well, I turn out the light, say goodbye to another night. I'm gonna rest my weary head and put my bones away to bed. Yeah, I'm gonna get on my knees and pray, tell the Lord to give me just one more day. Oh Lord, hear my plea, this music means so much to me. Well, I'm talking about soul to soul, soul to soul, brother to brother, acapella. Oh, it sounds good to me. Sure sounds good to me. Soul to soul, soul to soul. Yeah, brother to brother, oh, acapella. Oh, it sounds good to me. Shooby doo up. Shooby doo up, shooby doo up, shooby doo up, bop bop, shooby doo up, shooby doo up, shooby doo up, yeah, yeah, shooby doo up, shooby doo up,
shoo-be-doo-wop-bop-bop, ho-ho-ho. Oh, yeah!
The Grove is sometimes derided as a rendezvous for men trying to turn back the hands of time, to recapture youth, even boyhood, to enjoy the casual lifestyle, the carefree indulgences, and yes, the familiar sounds of less stressful times of their lives. To which Bohemians reply, "Hey, what's wrong with that?"
When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes,
troubled water, I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me when you're down and out, when you're on the street, when evening falls so hard, I'll comfort you. I'll take your part. Oh, when darkness comes and pain is all around, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me sail on, silver girl, sail on by. Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. See how they shine. If you need a friend, I'm sailing right behind.
while there is literally something for everyone's fancy at the Grove. The four pillars of Bohemia, art, music, literature, and drama, are most beautifully integrated and stunningly illustrated in the Grove play. Here, playwriting is fused with historical and literary scholarship, blended with music of grand opera caliber, and presented in costumes and stage settings of breathtaking beauty. And so it has been, in a line broken only by war, since 1902.
Do I see streaks of dawn in the sky? Soon, sire. Very soon. One final dawn for me to see. Beyond it lies eternity. One final glow For fate bids my heart be still forever. But if the chance were mine to write it all again, would I change a line just to spare the pain? I doubt it. Men live for good or ill by doing what they must, and at heaven's will all return to dust. Eternal, how many dreams must die tonight? Dreams unfulfilled that once were bright.
There is a strange feeling in my heart. I feel it too. I flush and I fumble as a child. I cannot deny this, it is true. Such beauty takes my breath away. I cannot speak. I dare not break the spell. Love is spoken from many lips, but our love is fresh as the snow, gentle as the blossoms that flutter to the earth, eternal as seasons come and go. Where thou goest, I will go. Here is my pledge. Here is my pledge. Our souls entwining, I am yours. Here is my pledge. Here is my pledge. Eternally, my precious lotus blossom, as soon as I have fulfilled my duty to country and king, I shall return for you. I promise. Where thou goest, I will go. Here is my pledge. Here is my pledge. Our souls entwining, I am yours. How shall it be built, sir?
How shall it be built?
Build it of beauty that fills the heart with grace and shines with heavenly light to fill the eyes with pure delight. Build it of moonlight that casts its spell in dreams, loving shadows and sinuous beams, a golden halo to bestow. Build it of longing to lock each memory apart, and fold each face, each tone, each kiss, one last forever, nevermore to know this worldly bliss. It of beauty that fills the heart with grace and shines with heavenly light to fill the eyes with pure delight. Build it of longing to lock each memory apart, fold each face, each form, each kiss, one last caress, nevermore to know this worldly
Now comes the moment of delight, when solitude descends. Through wheeling centuries of night, my solemn glance attends. What mysteries of whirling bright their welcome light extends. Each whispered truth makes day of night when solitude descends. Listed and distant lay at night approaches through the air and fills my vision with delight beyond all dreams compare. Like
thank God you are safe. Dick, and for my sake, be careful.
Oh, no harm can come to me. My friends are here. There's not one that wouldn't hide me if I were in danger.
I know of none who would betray you. Still, I'm mortal afraid for you.
We have nothing to fear. Dear, I told you I would come to you by moonlight. No matter what the distance be, what danger bar my way, should take a straight to slow my step, fear not my love delay. I'll come to you by moonlight, love. I'll come to you by moonlight, love, before the break of day. Have care, my dearest love, have care. God bring you safe, I pray. I never that these parties thine to honor and obey. I'll wait for you by moonlight, love. I'll wait for you by moonlight, love, forever and a day. What care have I for human foe? For man is made of clay, and only God's almighty hand can set my plans aflame. I'll come to you by moonlight, love. I'll come to you by moonlight, love, before the break of day. If I could only climb to you by moonlight, love, before the break of day, I'll come to you by moonlight, my love. I'll wait for you by moonlight, love. I'll wait for you by moonlight, love, forever and a
Journey, always journey to the stars when you're young and filled with need. Always journey at great speed to find your way away. For the stars are always wise, dancing high in starlit skies, each a spinning soul that speaks to you. Journey, you must journey deep inside. Take the time you need to find what's within your heart and mind, and know your truest soul, and become your very best, then grace will grant you rest, for you earn it with love.
Wander, you can wander through the stars, you can slide down comet hills, cross the endless curve of time, and seek your heart's desire, and become your very best, and grace will grant you rest, when you earn it with unselfish love.
Journey, always journey to the stars, when you're young and filled with need. Always journey at great speed, and find your way away, for the stars are always wise, dancing high in starless skies. You will find your journey, always journey to the stars. You will find your way.
Never mind the gray December, it disappears, my love, when I remember the summer sun, the ruby red wine, and the picnic hampers so full of good things. Upon the hill, we sat looking down toward the distant red chimneys of the town. In the haze, butterfly days, life was oh so easy, no cloud in the sky. But then the guns would be heard, and I recall your last words, I love you so.
How I miss you.
Far away, away, here in the front lines, I am writing to you while it's quiet.
And I sit and wonder what you're doing at this moment. Are you thinking of me too?
Or are you somewhere tonight, under the pale moon, dancing gaily around with somebody?
Well, if you are happy, that's the most important thing to do in the world.
The days of sun, the days of ruby red wine, and the picnic hampers so full of good things. Upon the hill, we sat looking down toward the distant red chimneys of the town. In the haze, butterfly days, life was oh so easy, no cloud in the sky. But then the sound of guns would be heard, and I recall your last words, I love you so. Every day we're living under a cloud of smoke from the burning towns. I don't know why we're here or what we're fighting for. I sometimes believe it's just a nightmare. Every day we're living just for the day we can do no more. The thing that keeps me on my feet is loving you. I adore when I think about my home. I get so worried it'll suddenly change, leaving just a memory of people I used to know, like Tom and Jane, and of the place come home soon, I'll show them how much they do mean to me. I know I took for granted all their loving care. Now I can see. Darling, when the war is ended, we'll be together as our fate intended. We'll have our sun, we'll have our shine, we'll have the ruby red wine and the picnic hamper so full of good things. Upon the hill, upon we'll sit looking down toward the distant red chimneys of the town. In the haze, butterfly days, I will ask you something I'm longing to know. The time is here, the time is here, the time the battle's begun. There is a war to be won, and I must go. You are the star, you are the star that's leading me still. Please guide me over the hill. I love you so.
In people's homes I try my best to be a gracious dinner guest. The last thing I would call myself is picky. Most any kind of food is fine, but now and then I draw the line at dishes that are singularly icky. Like tongue. By me its praises go unsung. To its own mouth it should have clung, 'cause I hate to lick a food that licks me back. Brains, despite the protein it contains, the mere idea gives me pains, 'cause to me a piece of mind is not a snack. And when I'm served such things, to me the meal is finito. That is unless, of course, they are served incognito. Heart, no feat of culinary art could make me pry my lips apart, 'cause a heart's one organ I will not attack. Now chitlins is a cutesy name, but it's pig intestines just the same, so spice 'em up, can't eat those entrails bland. Those sweetbreads is a fancy label, it's pancreas that's on your table, so go ahead and have yourself a gland. And head cheese isn't a cheese, but head that's been cooked into sandwich spread, but mercifully the eyes and ears aren't used. And tripe is cattle's stomach lining, bring that up to someone dining, and he'll promptly ask to be excused. Lung, that's got to be the bottom rung. As food it's on a par with dung, so I don't care that it's rare or that it's fresh. I'll stick to eating good old-fashioned, tasty, normal, civilized flesh, flesh, flesh.
Too soon the gossamer spell is dispelled. The university presidents, corporate chairmen, authors, actors, singers, diplomats, military leaders, scientists, statesmen, financiers, lawyers, and businessmen must store their stupendously successful illusion in memory's mothballs and return to the real world and the dull care that awaits them there. Ah, but not before one last grand hurrah.
Bohemia's